So a full look after the lottery results at what's going on in this draft. The Cavaliers, Chat's Cavaliers, have picks at 2, 16, and 18, while my Bulls have picks at 4, 8, and 11, 21 as well. So 3 first-round picks for Chat, and 4 for the Bulls? 4 for the Bulls. All right. Well, this is the draft that both of our teams are getting built up a little bit then, isn't it? So, to the 1987 draft. San Antonio, with the first overall pick, take David Robinson. The bigs are deadly in this era. David Robinson to the Spurs. Meaning Chat, second overall, has a couple of options. Holy shit, is this a deep draft? Chat not even wanting to consider anybody else. Chat just wanting Reggie Miller, apparently. Any disagreements? Any disagreements? Or is Reggie Miller the pick? There are some now considering Scottie Pippen. Shout out from Muggsy Bogues. Well, it's got to be between those two. Will it be Scottie Pippen or Reggie Miller? Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Pippen or Miller? Can't really go wrong either way. Who do you want? The thing is, you already have a forward. You know, if your coach plays Pippen at guard, so be it, but you do already have a forward either way. Reggie is a shooting guard. Who's it going to be? If it ends up in a tie, it goes to a coin toss. We don't do revotes. If it's a tie, it goes to a coin toss. So keep that in mind. Is it Reggie Miller or Scottie Pippen? Or you could take first overall projected Horace Grant. At least for that other fucking one, whatever the hell was going on there. Reggie Miller is the selection. Chat gets him second overall. Reggie's off to Cleveland. Los Angeles at 3. Take Scottie Pippen. I didn't get Jordan. I didn't get Rodman. I didn't get Pippen. I am still guaranteed a good player, but no Scottie Pippen for me. No trade offers either. All right, well. Not the Scottie Pippen selection is no longer there for me. Which, kinda sucks. Top 3 players from this draft class are all gone. Fuck. Well, in theory, Horace Grant ended up being like the next best player. The problem is I just don't know how the AI set this up, right? Kevin Johnson, starter all-star. Hobson, guaranteed starter. Kenny Smith, starter all-star. Holden Polynice, same thing. Reggie Lewis, higher ceiling. I was leaning towards Reggie Lewis anyway, to be honest. Obviously, with Reggie, it's a bit of a different story because it is someone who died prematurely. Obviously, I'm not allowed to trade. I just want to look at my roster here. I don't really have a permanent forward, so he'll fit in. Okay. 4th overall, going for Reggie Lewis. Granted, it's a shooting guard more than the forward, but I check both. Reggie Lewis is the pick. Gotta be. Milwaukee at 5. Take Kevin Johnson. Golden State at 6. Take Kenny Smith. And Phoenix at 7. Mark Jackson. Okay. I'm back on the clock here at 8 and 11. No trade offer. Turns out I can end up with Horace Grant if I want to, which is pretty nice. What's Muggsy listed as? Starter All-Star, Starter All-Star, Starter All-Star, Starter All-Star, Starter All-Star, Starter. So Hobson's the safest pick of the bunch. Aside from that, I should probably look elsewhere. Don't know if I need Horace Grant, though, because we do have a power forward. Right? Like, we got Reggie Lewis now at shooting guard. I don't know if I have a... we know that Watley's leaving. I got Tree Rollins. He's leaving. So aside from that, I do need a center. I got to keep a hold of Hot Rod. Point guard and center are arguably the two biggest needs. There's only one point guard and only one center left, really. I mean, unless I were to go for Joe Wolf, who's generated... Who else is there for point guards aside from Muggsy? Scott Brooks. Who else is there for centers? Chris Dudley. All right. Either way, I just got to hope that this goes my way, basically, in terms of drafting for, like, need. Second. I got to go for the highest rated first of the needs. Going for Olden Polynice. Welcome in, Olden. Welcome in. I got to hope Muggsy is still there at 11. The Knicks at 9 take Derek McKee. The Nets at 10, Dennis Hobson. Okay, so it worked out for me. Wouldn't mind Horace Grant, but we're going for Muggsy Bogues, a point guard. Welcome in, Muggsy. Sacramento, we're going to take Sarunas Marciulionis. Oh, my God. Freaking Lithuania. Marciulionis, something like that. Pacers got 2 of the next 3. At 13, they take Horace Grant. So no miracle for the chat for Horace to fall to them at 16. Rockets at 14 take Reggie Williams. And the Pacers at 15 trade the pick. Along with a second rounder for Walter Davis from Phoenix. So the Suns take Winston Garland, leaving Chat with 2 of the next 3. And no trade offers on this pick, Chat. So, in terms of, like, the super familiar names, I mean, like, Greg Anderson, Kevin Gamble, Vinny Askew, Tellis Frank. There's no, like, oh my God, get this player left. So it's definitely going to want to be, like, a needs thing. At point guard, you got Scotty Skiles. You're going to need a backup. Shooting guard, you got Reggie and Rodman. You're fine. Forward, you have Derek Smith and John Williams behind him. You need a power forward, badly. And then you're good at center, although Manute Bol is claiming he won't sign, but you have an option on him. You need a power forward or a backup point guard. To be honest, you desperately need a power forward. And that would be Greg Anderson or Tellis Frank. That would be Anderson or Frank. And then maybe you grab Scott Brooks with that next pick. Seeing the shouts for Anderson, who is probably a higher overall. Starter. Frank is listed at bench starter. Greg Anderson's the guy. There you go. It's a pretty good pick. Atlanta selects Joe Wolf at center. So Chad at 18. Fill the other need, right? Take the point guard, Scott Brooks. Best one left. Any disagreements, or are you going to cause a log jam at a different position? Makes sense to just fill the need since none of the top-notch players are left in this draft. Any disagreements? This way, too, you have a pretty well-rounded team. It's just a matter of them developing and who sticks around long-term. All right, Brooks is the guy. God, I still have the 21st pick, too. I'm begging for a trade offer. Kevin Gamble goes to Washington. Detroit trades the 20th overall pick to the Spurs for Artis Gilmore. So the Spurs take Tellis Frank. No trade offer for me. I got to make this pick. It's either Askew, Dudley, or Grandison, and I'll take the youngest of the bunch. I'll take Vinny Askew. Works for me. Welcome in, Vince. God, I got the 25th pick, too, coming up. Jesus Christ. Lakers take Chris Dudley. Mavericks at 23, Doug Lee. And the Blazers at 24, Ron Grandison. Oh, now I get a trade offer for the 25th pick. Ooh, a second in 89 to get a future first rounder from the Celtics. That's a yes. Unless someone else is offering a first. Lakers offering the 89 protected. Celtics was only top 10 protected. Lakers was top 3. That's not bad. We're going for that Lakers pick, I think. John Sally. You know, he's really not that bad. I mean, a 73 at 23 is kind of rough and a B+. Holy hell. And then there's Tellis Frank. This worked out really well for me. God damn. We will gladly send this pick and a second down the road to the Lakers for a future first. Works for me. Works for me. End up taking Rick Zerb. Whatever. And now neither of us have any picks left. Cool. Done and done. Jesus Christ, David Robinson's a beast. They got Reggie Miller to 77, Pippen at an 80. A year younger. Blame the roster creator. Reggie Lewis for me at 4, not bad. Kevin Johnson was higher rated than him, but I'm okay with that. Paul Anise also at a 78. Bogues at a 76. Pretty good draft for the Bulls. Pretty good. You aged Reggie up. Hey, blame Reaver. He's the one that pointed it out. You guys also got Greg Anderson, who was a 75, and Brooks, who was only a 69, but that wasn't too bad. I got a Skew at a 71. And then second round, Jesus Christ, there was literally nobody. Dude, I just traded a future first round pick for a 49 overall and another second round pick because we put the quality on 0 and all the real players ran out. I just fleeced the Lakers. Absolutely fleeced them. So in terms of the rookie signing, I'm bringing in all my guys. Lewis, Pawnee, Bogues, and Askew. For you guys, it's Miller, Anderson, and Brooks to round out the depth. I fucking fleeced the Lakers. Jesus. You have Manute Bowles option to pick up. I got Hot Rods, Barbers, and AC Greens. Yeah, honestly, it just makes sense to claim all of those options, which is fine. Apparently, Jim Paxson's opting out. Qualifying offers. Interesting. What do you guys have? Just Valentine, 22.73 and a C+. Probably worth getting rid of him, given that he's getting paid $300K, right? That's quite a bit. Franklin Wingate isn't going to get any better. Scurry says A- potential, but he's 24 and a 71. I'm done with him. Human Shrek, you're gone too. John Gregg isn't going to get too much better, but he's worth that amount of money. And Gerard Finley can also go. Any disagreements about dropping Valentine? I don't see any. So that just makes sense for you guys to save the money. Only guy I'm going to keep is Greg. All right. So free agency. I got no cap room. You guys also have currently no cap room. So we'll see how this works out. For the Bulls, take my cap hold off of Ennis Watley because I'm not going to be able to afford him. I just got to wait for all of this to clear out. I'm not even going to cap hold Greg then, whatever. If he wants to leave, he can leave. That's fine by me. And for you guys, same thing here. Just let a bunch of the depth go. Free up a little bit of money. You won't really have money to spend unless there's a good young player to bring in. But it's always nice to have that option. We're just going to get through the moratorium days. So now it's $1.6 million for the Bulls, $1.19 for the Cavs. So again, you're not going to be in for any of the big players. You can't afford it. But I know you guys are going to want to check potentials. And everybody... Where's the first B+? All right, so Sleepy Floyd, I mean, he's 27. Are there any younger players here with a decent overall that you know have at least an A- potential? There's Greg Augustine, 23 and a 69. It's kind of mid. John Gregg is out there. Why nearly kept? He does want $700K, though. Almost 8. Kenny Simpson wants over $1 million. Jarrell Bates is okay-ish. I mean, basically, there's long shots to ever develop. Martin Forte. And if you wanted to go after someone like Martin Forte for shits and giggles, let me know. But really, there's nobody major. 1.67 in cap. Is it worth me going after anybody here? Got Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Lewis. Do need a better forward than Rory White. I don't really have the roster that can compete right now, so I don't plan on signing anybody. Just going to keep that cap space. And I guess you could argue Doc Rivers, but that would literally be every fucking penny that I have open. So that is not going to happen. All right, well, let's get through this then. Not much to do in free agency. Our teams haven't quite turned the corner yet. Still very much building up to the draft. So I would say it makes sense. And just in terms of those big signings, Alex English with Denver, George Gervin to the Spurs, Byron Scott still with the Lakers, and Beer stays with the Pistons. Woolridge goes to Indiana. That kind of sucks. Paxson's off to Utah. Jordan gets help with Jeff Malone. Aaron Ants on the move. Michael Cooper stays with the Lakers. Cliff Robinson off to Philly. Okay. Fair enough. In terms of player progression for the Cavs, Manute Bol is now tied with Derek Smith for the highest rated player on Chat's team. Scotty Skiles went up by 4. John Williams went up by 4. Corzine's getting worse, but that's not a big deal. I mean, it'll affect his trade value a little bit. And then Norm Rodman also went up by 1. So, I mean, there's some players there. A couple of these guys are going to be a part of the core for Chat's team. AC Green and Jeff Hornacek. Hello. Massive steps up for those two. Hot Rod eclipses an 80. Hot damn. Well, maybe it was a good idea investing in Jeff Hornacek and AC Green in that random trade. Maybe it was. Holy shit. Like, holy shit. Oh, boy. An 88 draft class, huh? What can we find? What can we find? I'm kind of afraid now. Although we know our one guy to look out for now. And that is the Cobra. That's our guy. By God, that's gotta be Cobra. All right, so let's see. Power ranking is always fun to look at. Dallas still number 1. And the Bulls and Cavs, bottom 2 in the league to start the year. As we should be. Let's be honest, our teams have been terrible. In terms of this draft, Rex Chapman, I hope he goes first overall. I hope this freaking roster creator just made Rex Chapman insane. Hershey Hawkins, Danny Manning, who was the first overall pick, right? Mitch Richmond, Rick Smits. It is not an incredible draft, but there are some good players in there. John Starks, Dan Mahere, Rod Strickland, and former head coach Vinny Del Negro. Second rounder, Will Perdue. Steve Kerr is in this draft as well. Second round projection for him. We'll see if that continues to be the case. The draft pick situation for our two teams. My Bulls have 2 first guaranteed, our own in Phoenix, and then Dallas's is top 10 protected. So I'm going to have 3 first round picks this year. And then I got a couple lined up in 89. I'll tell you right now, I'm putting all 3 of my first round picks for this year on my trade block. Not the untouchables list. I'm putting all my picks on my trade block easily. Easily. If I can move on from them, I will. I absolutely will, and I know chat's going to want to do the same. Speaking of chat's picks, you have your own and Golden State's for this year. So we'll add those 2. And then to take a look at the rosters before we decide, like, trade block and everything. For chat, you got Scott Skiles at point guard. Eddie Jordan was randomly signed. And then Scott Brooks as another backup. Shooting guard, Reggie Miller. Norm Rodman and Dion Rice was signed as a filler. Forward, Derek Smith, John Williams, and Lowell Malone. Power forward, Greg Anderson, Hank McDowell. It's like a math teacher. And Ben Paquette. And the big man, Manute Bol. And Dave Corzine. So, in terms of what that roster looks like, right? You got to get Corzine on the list. That's a guarantee. Right? In terms of who else you could even add, I don't think Jordan's really going to have any trade value for you guys. Brooks probably won't either. Yeah, you can't even get rid of Jordan right now anyway. Might be a good time to move on from Rodman. His value is probably as high as it's ever going to be, especially because he's not the starter now. Forward, you're fine. As a good 1-2 punch. Power forward, again, not too much value there, and the Manute Bol's going nowhere, right? So there's really not too much for you guys to do right now at this stage. Right? Let me know if you disagree, but that's pretty much the play. And then for my Chicago Bulls, we got Muggsy, Finley, Michael Wilson, whatever. Shooting guards, Hornacek and Reggie Lewis. I got to figure out something there. Also, I got to look to move Dudley and Barber and Vinny Askew. Jesus. Forward, Roy White and Carlton Battle. Hot Rod and AC Green, both the power forward, son of a bitch. And then Polonius and Russell Cross. Right. It makes sense to get rid of Jeff Hornacek after that good of a season to bank on Reggie Lewis. And it would make sense to bank on moving on from Hot Rod Williams to stick with AC Green. I mean, AC is a year younger, same overall. Potential's a bit worse, but, well, because of that, actually. What's Hornacek's potential? Yeah, it's a good time to move on from Hornacek. And honestly, Williams and Green are a good 1-2 punch. Yeah, maybe we'll move on from AC. I got a lot of players I want to move. I'm putting Olden Polonius on my untouchables list. I'm going to leave Hot Rod available. Lewis goes to my untouchables list. And Muggsy as well. If you guys had anybody on the untouchables list, let me know. Probably Reggie, right? Probably Reggie. Aside from that, I mean, maybe Manute's. and Derek Smith. Let me know what you think. But, like, I know Reggie Miller's the one the chat's really going to want to hold on to. And looking at the Cavs setup here, Scott Skiles, Reggie Miller, Derek Smith, Ben Poquette, and Manute Bol. A little bit of a hole at power forward. It's playing Paquette over Anderson, so your coach is not smart and also very bad. And for the Bulls, Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Lewis, Rory White, AC Green, Olden Polynice. So hot rods there. You guys clearly need a power forward. Boy, don't you? Boy, don't you? And you know what's funny? You need a power forward, chat. Right? You need a starting power forward. You need a starting power forward. And I could use a bit of an upgrade at small forward. Isn't that interesting? Isn't that interesting? Huh. Chat's saying no. Hey, fair enough. Your funeral. Why work together to try and overcome the Dallas menace? Oh, Crash, they'll live to regret this. Maybe not in this era, but soon. They will live to regret this. They will live to regret it. They will. And that's okay. You know, the last time I offered them a trade, kind of won them an entire era. But, you know. What do I know? What do I know? Let's see what happens here. 1987-88 season. Let's see what happens. As I immediately get a trade offer. Sam Barber and an unprotected 92 draft pick for Phoenix and 90 top 5 protected and Ricky Green. Green would probably take away from Muggsy, so I'm going to say no to that. What was the trade? Nope. Too many people said no. Too many people said no. Too many people said no. I definitely don't want to trade Rory White. Actually, if I trade Rory White away, it might play a shooting guard at forward. I'd get Artis Gilmore in a second. Not that Artis is any good. Top 90 protected. Probably. I should bop you for that. Hey, did you know you misspoke at 3:30 a.m.? Honestly, I'm going to do this. I'll take on Artis Gilmore. Pick up a random second. That's fine by me. See you later, Rory. We don't want you here. What I do want... Well, I actually don't even have room. How many people said no? Most of them. From what I saw. Too many. So hopefully my coach isn't playing Carlton Battle at forward. Perfect. That way we're playing Hornacek and Reggie Lewis. Awesome. 1-5 start for the Bulls. 2-4 for the Cavs. See what happens as we move on. Cavs get their first offer. No reason for you to take it. Scotty Skiles in a second for veteran center Bill Cartwright. Again, that would just take away from Manute Bol. You know, like technically you could hope it would play Cartwright at power forward. It's not a guarantee. But that would also hurt you tremendously at point guard. Tremendously. So yeah, chat's already saying no. That's smart at least. A lack of trades here. This is upsetting. Oh boy. AC Green and Olden Polynice for Sam Bowie and Roy Hinson. Green, 2481B. Polonies, 2379B minus. Bowie is already 26. Obviously an upgrade on Polonies. Hinson is also 26. Not quite an upgrade on AC Green, but he does fill the gap at forward that I currently have. I feel like I want a different trade, though. I mean, right now, too, my AI is playing Reggie at forward, so that's just not the right deal for AC Green for me. And then without Polonies, I'd have Artis Gilmore at center. So, trade offer for the Cavs. I don't see why you guys would ever accept this. Because John Paxson's 27, whereas Scott Skiles is only 23. Mike Mitchell's 31 compared to, there's just no way you guys are going to go for that. I wouldn't, so we don't even need to worry about it. I do need to consider this, though. Hot Rod Williams and Cameron Dudley for Chuck Person and Doug Lee. And I like Hot Rod. 2582 and a B plus. Dudley's 2476 and an A minus. Chuck Person, 2384 and an A minus. Cameron Dudley's not playing like at all at shooting guard. I mean, he's the third, if not fourth choice guy here. That gets me a legit starting forward. And that means I keep AC Green at power forward. Hot Rod Williams and Cameron Dudley going to Dallas for Chuck Person. I mean, Leah's got an extra year left, making a little bit too much, that's for sure. But I got to take the best player in the deal. It's worth it. It's worth it. Although Chuck does have to be re-signed. We'll see what happens there. This could end up being a bit of a disaster, but time will tell. Chuck Person, welcome in, buddy. That means officially AC Green is now untouchable. So ideally, we're still trying to move Jeff Hornacek. And then Sam Barber, I would also like to move you. I think you're more likely to move than Artis Gilmore is. These first-round picks are not exactly moving for either of us. But the Bulls at 5-25, Cavs at 6-21 on Christmas Day, and there's a trade for Hornacek, Mark Eaton, and Wally Cheeks. That's a pricey deal for Mark Eaton. I mean, I don't even really need him. I'd need them to have Artis Gilmore in. Yeah, that's not the deal. Shout out to a name like Wally Cheeks, though. But you guys do get a good offer here, though. Move on from the depth veteran center, Dave Corzine, for 22-year-old Kevin Gamble. His potential isn't great, but you also get a second-round pick. This is a no-brainer. Absolute no-brainer. Get something for Corzine. Bring on Gamble if he becomes something cool. If not, whatever. And you get a draft pick out of it. There's zero reason to not take this deal. Zero reason. So I'd accept it in a heartbeat anyway if it was me. So let's just not even bother talking shit. Lakers trying to trade me that shit bag that they drafted when I fleeced them earlier. They want 28-year-old Michael Wilson. They'll give me a second-round pick and take the shit bag. I will gladly take a second-round pick for a rando dude. Thank you very much, LA. Keep giving me draft picks. It's working out so well for you. They're trying to flip me Corzine. 92 unprotected. Yeah, I'm not trading away any unprotected picks. Sorry. Not happening. Scott Skiles and a first and 92 unprotected for a 90 top 3. And Dennis Hobson, that just doesn't fit what you guys need at all, though, at forward, right? You already got Reggie Miller. So that doesn't fit at all for you guys. Not one bit. All right, chat. Well, trade deadline day. I can't imagine you have any desire to use your nuke, which means we're just going to be able to move on here. Although we can check the contract extensions early on here. Norm Rodman's apparently going to leave. Yeah, so you guys are going to lose Norm Rodman. That's about it. Which is fine. I mean, you've basically internally replaced him. For me, I don't think I have anybody to worry about. You no longer have an extra power forward. Correct. Deal is off the table. Potential deal is off the table. I think we're good. It's just a matter now of who's going to suck worse in a not-so-deep draft. Although, I do get a last-second trade offer. Sam Barber and a second for Cliff Livingston and Quinn Shaw. Barber, 2677B. Livingston is 27. Ooh, depth power forward, though. Expiring deal. This does technically save us a little bit of money. Quinn Shaw is fucking dreadful. Does get me a backup power forward for the year. I got to give up a second rounder to do it, but I'm actually going to take that. And I'll make that deal with Golden State. Welcome in Cliff Livingston, I presume. Livingston to us on the side and trade. Nope, you missed your window. I appreciate your attempts, Filio. I am no longer interested. Frank, he knew what he was saying. He was saying, I trade for that guy, but then we work out a trade between us. And I say no. And I say absolutely not. And I say, hey, yeah. I said, hey, what's going on? Let's just double check the extension deadline. Again, I'm pretty sure there's nothing either side can do. Yeah, Rodman still wants to leave you guys. Paquette, you're going to let go anyway. So, yeah, we're good to go on that front. It's pretty much now just a race to the bottom. It's a race to the bottom that I have a hunch the Cavs are going to win. 11 wins as of April. Now you got 12. You beat me. We finally have a non-Magic Johnson MVP. Say hello to Akeem Olajuwon. Jesus Christ, dude. He is a monster in this game. Every year. Your Rookie of the Year, San Antonio's David Robinson. Dude, the state of Texas is a fucking nightmare. Sixth Player of the Year, Dallas's Dale Ellis. Defensive Player of the Year, Patrick Ewing in Indiana. Most Improved, Arvidas Sabonis in Sacramento. Coach of the Year, Dallas's Josh Ball. Gabriel Thomas won Executive of the Year for them. First Team All-NBA, Michael Jordan, now up to a 97 for the Bullets. Magic Johnson. Charles Barkley. Len Bias. Damn. And Akeem Olajuwon. Holy hell. Your all-defensive team, Michael Jordan, Clyde Drexler, Del Bledsoe, Len Bias, and Patrick Ewing. Your all-rookie team, Scottie Pippen, Kevin Johnson, Muggsy Bogues, Reggie Lewis, and David Robinson. No playoffs for us this year. Obviously, both of our teams were fucking dreadful. Actually, we'll go back over here as we take a look at some of the stats on the year. For Chat's Cavs, led by Reggie Miller as a rookie, just over Scotty Skiles. John Williams had a decent year. Kevin Gamble. Obviously, a rebound leader was Manute Bol. Greg Anderson was up there, too. Assist king was Scotty Skiles. For the Bulls, we were led by Reggie Lewis. Cliff Livingston, of course, was acquired late. Jeff Hornacek was pretty good. Top rebound man was Cliff Livingston. AC Green, top assist man. 7 assists a game for Muggsy Bogues. What a man. What a man. Love to see it. But again, no playoffs for either side to worry about. Let's find out if the Mavericks are about to win 4 in a row. They eliminate Sacramento. They eliminate Magic Johnson and the Lakers. They eliminate the Portland Trail Blazers. 4 in a row. Right? 3 or 4. I've already lost track. I think that's 4, 3. 3, 4, 3 in a row, 4 who knows, man. If it's not 4 in a row yet, it will be soon. Jesus Christ, it is 4 in a row. That's right. Yeah, because we had Olajuwon, Aguirre, the other guy, and now Aguirre again. 4 in a row for the Dallas Mavericks. They only lost 1 game, and that was to Magic Johnson's Lakers. Holy shit, dude. Like, I don't see how anybody stops them. They beat the Bullets, the Celtics, the Sixers, and now the Hawks. Literally, the only year they didn't win was year 1, and that was before they drafted Olajuwon. Whew. Damn. Again, the second they got Olajuwon, neither one of us had a shot at him. That was pretty much it. That was pretty much it. In terms of player retirements, Scott Wedman, Artis Gilmore, Bill Walton, Ricky Green. Mitch Kupchak's gone. Historic changes. Oh boy, we got to deal with our first 2 expansion teams. The Miami Heat and the Charlotte Hornets are entering the league. A full look change for Golden State as well. So for the first time, we get to deal with expansion teams. Miami and Charlotte will be joining the league. Fair enough. Which brings us to league realignment. So Miami joins the Western Conference, the Midwest. And of course, on the Eastern side, the Atlantic Conference sees Charlotte. Okay. That brings us to the draft lottery. Cavaliers and the Bulls, both with 2 picks in the running. Our own, and of course, lottery protected picks, perhaps. I don't quite remember the results there. So we're going to see how this shakes out for both sides. The 9th overall pick belongs to the Chicago Bulls, meaning the Cavs have moved into the top 3. But is that a pick that's yours? The Chicago Bulls have the 8th overall pick, meaning the Spurs are back into the top 3. This game fucking hates me. Oh, Milwaukee selects at 7. I'm just hoping to get trade offers for those picks. It's not the best draft in the world, so I'm not too sad. Sonics hold at 6. At 5, the expansion Heat will be selecting there. I mean, you guys have 2 picks in the top 4. But again, I'm not upset. Like, if there was any year to have bad lottery luck, this was the year. And the Hornets pick at 4. You guys will have 2 top 3 picks this year. It is a historically weaker class, but it's still never a bad idea to have 2 top 3 picks, if not the top 2 picks. Will it be the Spurs at 3? So one of your picks does fall to number 3, thanks to Golden State. Who will have the number 1 pick? Will it be San Antonio for the 2nd year in a row? Or will it be Cleveland? The answer is Cleveland. The Spurs at 2. The Cavs have the number 1 pick in the 1988 drafts. Again, not the best class to get a number 1 pick in, but not too bad to ever have a number 1 pick. There you go. So Cleveland this year has picks number 1 and 3, while the Bulls have picks 8, 9, and 25. Okay. An opportunity to do some damage for both of us. We shall see. Now, we do got to get to the expansion draft. In terms of who we're allowed to protect, I mean, I'm good to go. I'll even leave Doug Lee available. Actually, I won't, because that means they'll have to take these 2. So I'm good to go. And then for Chat's Cavaliers, you do have to leave somebody available. It might as well be Kevin Gamble that you picked up, right? I'm pretty sure you have to leave somebody available. Will it let you protect everybody? Let's find out. Yeah, so you do need to leave 1 player available. It makes sense for it to be Kevin Gamble. Again, you picked him up in a midseason trade. He's fine, but nothing special. Everybody else has a place on that team. That's a no-brainer. Again, he had, a C potential? Ooh, his potential actually went up. It makes sense for it to be Scotty Brooks, then. Keep Gamble. You lose the backup point guard in Brooks, though. That's the question. Gamble's a little bit more valuable than expected, but Brooks is better for the team in the depth role. What do you guys think? Who do you leave open to expansion? Kevin Gamble or Scott Brooks? You can draft a point guard. You sure can. Expose both of them. That is also an option. To say, fuck it, take them. That is also an option. Hold on. You know what? We'll throw it to a vote then. Will it be protect, Brooks, Gamble, or neither? There you go. There you go. Let's see how you guys vote for this one. And we'll get to that 1988 draft. Let's see. Let's see. Give me a second here. Oh, all right. Gamble is going to be protected. Brooks will be on the way out. So we get to the expansion draft. Crashy, we love you. You're not going to miss much. I think the draft is our last bit tonight. We'll see how these 2 teams end up looking. Dennis Rodman's heading to Miami. That's a match made in heaven. All right, so the 2 teams are done. We have Miami with Dennis Hobson, Dennis Rodman, Cameron Dudley, Mark Alari, Chris Dudley, couple of Dudleys, couple of Dennises. And the Hornets end up with James Donaldson, Darrell Walker, Joe Wolf, Scott Brooks, and a bunch of 50s. Because, again, we lowered the shit out of draft class quality. So they really, each side only got like 4 to 5 decent players. They are fucked. Both of them. That's rough. To the draft we go. The 1988 entry draft. Chat has picks number 1 and 3. With the first overall pick, chat, what do you think? What do you think? Who do you think? Let's actually show you your team really quickly. Again, at point guard, you got Scott Skiles. Don't have a backup currently. Shooting guards, Reggie Miller. Although Norm Rodman's going to be leaving. Forward, you still got Derek Smith and John Williams. And Kevin Gamble. Power forward, you only have Greg Anderson. Center, you still got Manute Bol. So somebody like Danny Manning would, in theory, fit very, very well with the team. There's a shout for Mitch Richmond, but all right, it's going to be Danny Manning. Yeah, I mean, like Hershey Hawkins could technically play point guard later on, but it's not even a guarantee. Best point guard in the draft is someone like Rod Strickland later on. So, Danny Manning is the choice. Shaq gets him first overall out of Kansas. San Antonio at 2 select power forward Tim Perry. Cleveland at 3. You do have to make the pick. At this point, you kind of go with best available. Who do you think it is, though? Seeing Mitch Richmond thrown out. Rick Smits. There was a shout for Steve Kerr. It feels like it'd be very, very early for him. All right. Based off of who I'm seeing, we'll throw it to a vote. Is it Mitch Richmond, Hershey Hawkins, Rick Smits, Dan Majerle, or for the hell of it, we'll even throw in a Steve Kerr / Rod Strickland based on position of need, although 3rd overall position of need is pretty rough. What do you guys think? Who's it going to be? 3rd overall for Cleveland, a 1-3 combination. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Richmond is leading the way. Statistically, top 4 player in the draft, Hershey Hawkins, you could argue, was the best player from this draft. It's looking like it's going to be Mitch Richmond with this pick. And he and Reggie Miller in the same position. We'll see how it works out. We'll see. Because that is the choice. Mitch Richmond's the guy. There you go. At 4, their first ever draft pick, the Charlotte Hornets take Hershey Hawkins. At 5, the first ever pick for the Miami Heat, they take Rod Strickland. Seattle at 6, Rex Chapman. Milwaukee at 7, trade the pick before back-to-back Chicago selections. It is the 7th overall and a 2nd to end up with Rex Chapman. So Rex drafted by Seattle, but is on his way to Milwaukee. Seattle ends up taking John Starks. 8th overall, I do not get a trade offer, so I have to at least make this pick. Could use a backup point guard, a backup forward, or a backup center. So, point guard, forward, or center. Well, there is one center who's still on the board, baby. Rick Smits. Welcome to Chicago. Big Rick. Question is, will I get a trade offer for number 9? No, I won't. So I have to make this pick as well. Sakali, Charles Smith. Dan Majerle is there as well. I mean, I find it intriguing that it has Charles Smith listed as that good. Starter All-Star, Starter All-Star. I mean, if it's not Dan Majerle here. It's not Dan Majerle here. I know it's Marley. I always say Majerle, though. I'm sorry. Mr. Bob Marley. There is Steve Kerr. There's a player here that should be here. I don't believe he was selected. But maybe the person who made the file missed him, and I guess 2K missed him as well. I do not see Anthony Mason. Anthony Mason's not there. John Starks already got selected. Huh. Neither side added Anthony Mason. Fair enough. Well, I don't know how good they would have made Chris Morris or Ronnie Sakali. Maybe because he was a third round. Maybe, yeah. I think we got to go with old Bob Marley. I think we got to. It worked out well last time I took a player that looked like they were underrated compared to what they should be. Welcome in, Dan. Happy to have you here. Sacramento at 10. Trade the pick. Along with another first for Tim Perry and a second. Wow. So San Antonio ends up taking Charles Smith. Clippers at 11, Chris Morris. Sixers at 12, Ronnie Sakali. Houston at 13, Harvey Grant. Indiana at 14, Liddell Yackles. Denver at 15, Michael Williams. New Jersey at 16, Willie Anderson. Utah at 17, Vernon Maxwell. Detroit at 18, Jeff Grayer. Lakers take Kevin Edwards at 19. Celtics at 20, Gary Grant. Rockets at 21, trade the pick for Bobby Jones. 1-for-1. So Philly takes Grant Long. I mean, they just basically swap power forwards. The Knicks at 22, Avery Johnson. Portland at 23, Brian Shaw. Atlanta at 24, Tom Tolbert. Chicago at 25, the Bulls back on the clock. And wouldn't you know who won the pony? Steve Kerr, come on down to Chicago. Welcome in, Stevie. Welcome in. So, and that's actually it. There are no other draft picks for either side in the second round. So there it is. So chat gets 82 overall Danny Manning and 80 overall Mitch Richmond. I mean, two best players of the draft going to Cleveland. It's just how exactly are they going to fit in on the team, especially Mitch Richmond. But that's a good problem to have. It is a good problem to have. I end up with Smits and Marley, 78 and 75. That's not too bad. Could have had a slightly higher pick than Marley, but I'm willing to trust the process here. Willing to trust the process. And then got 71 overall Steve Kerr at the end. Not bad. And of course, we know the second round is just horrific. Horrific. So let's get a look then. For chat, Danny Manning, 82 overall at 22 years old, B+ potential. Mitch Richmond, 80 overall at 23 with an A potential. It's a good problem to have. For myself, Rick Smits, 78 at 21, B+ potential. Mr. Marley, 22, 75 and a B-. That's okay. And Steve Kerr, 22, 71 and a B. I'm good with that. Got the Zebo for the fall, by the way. Welcome in. Both of us with a little bit of cap trouble heading into the rest of this. Little bit. We got the player options, of which it makes sense to pick up all of them. But this is going to get interesting money-wise for both of us. Qualifying offers, no choice but to let go of these three. You guys need to get rid of Norm Rodman. He wanted to leave anyway. And in terms of qualifying offer, it's not like you're going to get compensation or anything. So that's just a matter of saving money. No decisions to be made there. Michael Jordan and Akeem Olajuwon are both RFAs, but again, neither of us have any cap space. I actually have 45 grand, and you guys are technically a little bit under, so there is no money to spend right now. I got to let go of the cap hold on Cliff Levingston. Let go of all those guys. For you guys, you got to let go of everybody there. It's pretty straightforward. It is pretty straightforward in terms of how this is looking right now. Both of us just into positive cap space, but no money to sign anybody major. Even in terms of like top-notch prospects, there's just going to be nobody. I mean, like Deion Rice, but he's not going to develop. Yeah, so we're good. We did our damage in the draft. We'll see where all the big free agents ended up. Jordan, of course, stays with the Bullets. Olajuwon with the Mavericks. Moses Malone with the Sixers. John Stockton stays on the Pacers. Yeah, a lot of players are just sticking with where they were. There's been some movement, though. Sidney Moncrief goes to Miami. That's a huge signing for them. Kiki's on his way to Charlotte. So the expansion franchise has had some money to spend. Charlotte also brought in Jay Humphries. The Hornets might honestly be better than us already. The Hornets and the Heat. Both spending some big money. They had it to spend, so. In terms of player progression for the Bulls, Chuck Person, AC Green, Reggie Lewis. Core of my roster looking pretty damn good. Especially if my coach plays Jeff Hornacek at point guard. That means every single starter for me is at least an 80. Not bad. And for Chat's Cavs, Bowl up to an 84. Smith regresses a bit, but Reggie Miller up by 5. Skiles, Williams, Anderson, and Gamble all up by 2. Our teams are getting there. You guys are missing a point guard at the moment. I mean, Skiles is kind of there, though. I mean, both of our teams are in a pretty similar spot, to be honest. Both of our teams are in a pretty similar spot. It's going to set up an interesting time for deadline purposes. And in the 1989 draft, I am intrigued to see what's out there. I am intrigued. Don't know if there'll be a good one for this particular year. Probably not, but I am intrigued. And wouldn't you know, it's our boy Cobra. By God. JR Cobra. There you go. There you go. So, before we decide trade block and everything, which we'll probably do tomorrow, just to take a look. Upcoming draft picks. I have 2 in this draft, thanks to Detroit. Might even have a 3rd, thanks to the Lakers. Chat's Cavaliers only have their 1st currently, but you do have 2 firsts in 1990. This upcoming draft... Purvis Ellison up top, huh? Let's go big board. This upcoming draft, Sean Kemp, Tim Hardaway, Glenn Rice, Vlade Divac, Cliff Robinson. Some decent names in the mix. But it's another draft where finishing towards the top will help a lot, especially if you're in need of a big man like Sean Kemp or Vlade Divac.